Hello, everyone. This is coming to you from Vienna, Austria. It's the 1st of April, and it's day 18 of our self-isolation or low-key quarantine. You know, this is 2020. This is the year of Corona, the international pandemic. Austria switched to homeschooling on the 15th of March. And in order to give a little bit of art activity, offer some art activities for the kids that I teach in 2 Viennese schools, I have decided to create an art channel. Because there's a lot of people in the US, mainly my family, and hi to my family, in California and other places in the United States, who asked me if I could maybe do a few of the segments in English. And since most of the kids that I teach here in Vienna should know English well enough to be able to follow these tutorials, I have decided to switch to English. Today I'm going to do a traditional stop motion animation. I'm going to show you how it's done, and I'm going to demonstrate. I will animate. I do have a glass of water ready for when that happens. This, by the way, is tap water. Just as a side note, Vienna has the best tap water in the world. It comes straight from the mountains, and we're super proud of it, and rightfully so. It's perfect water, and it comes right out of the tap, and it's cold, and it's fresh. And I have lived in LA and San Francisco and New York, and those places are wonderful, and I really hope that everything goes well there, and yeah, people stay healthy and stay home, and I hope all this goes away as fast as possible, and it will if we're smart about it. But I've lived in many big cities of the world, and the one thing I always missed about Vienna was the tap water. Yeah, I'm gonna have another sip just to make sure that doesn't happen again. Something else I wanted to say, just in case you watched earlier videos, I have been told that the sound was a little bit less than perfect. Actually, it was super crappy. But as I said, when we did our first video, we are amateurs, Larissa and I. But we're working on it, and the first addition to our homemade studio is this super special Bluetooth mic, which I hope, since this is the first time I'm trying it out, is good enough to give you sound that you can actually work with. So without further ado, let's get started on stop motion animation. So all we need for our stop motion animation that we draw by hand is transparent paper or any other paper that's thin enough to be see-through. What you will definitely have at home is printer paper in a like 80 gram, 70 gram thickness. You just have to be able to see through it. I use transparent paper for the stop motion because it's a little easier to work with, and I can see through easier. And I use a pencil for sketching, an eraser for erasing, and a fine liner for the final lines. I guess that's why it's called fine liner. Or is it called fine liner because it makes such fine, thin lines? I don't know. In any case, I'm going to use these 3 utensils to animate our logo. But first I want to show you a very simple animation project that I did, and I actually took the time and I did this animation project in 3 minutes. So I started off with a stick figure guy holding 2 little balls, and he attempts to juggle them, throws them up in the air, and they're passing over his head, but he unfortunately mistook the distance, and they connect over his head, and then they kind of fall down and they lose whatever liquid was inside of them. Now, we're going to do this as a little animation in between so you can see how this stick figure starts moving. But my project today is animating our logo. So I need one piece of transparent paper and I need our logo. As I said before, the HONIG writing is an acronym and it stands for Home of New Inspiration and Creativity. And the panther here is kind of modeled after our studio cat Khan. And yeah, the sun is kind of shining out of the O and he's laying up on a little branch. Now let's see how we're going to animate him. I put down the paper and I draw everything that won't move directly with the fine liner. I just trace all the lines. The nice thing about hand animation is that things will be a little bit different in each of the drawings, and that will create just a little bit of movement, almost like the figure is breathing, or there's a little bit of wind blowing, making that branch move, and it will seem kind of alive. See, I kind of messed up here tracing, but I'm doing it quickly, and I'm kind of doing these on purpose, just so there will be a little bit of movement and it won't look so rigid. Okay, so here's my first of 43 single drawings to create a stop motion movie. And I left most of the original logo intact, but I did move his arm up a little bit and I did move his tail a little bit. And now comes the next drawing. I just removed the first one. I put the second one down, a new sheet of transparent paper on top, and I start tracing again. So many hours later, I have actually finished 43 drawings, which will be about, we divide by 8, so 43 will be a little bit more than 5 seconds of movie. And I built myself a setup for taking the individual pictures. Now what you need is a smartphone with a stop motion app. The one I'm using is called Stop Motion Studio, and it's actually for free, and it will do the job. It has one very important setting, and that is the setting that it will take a single photograph at intervals that you can set, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and anything in between. And I set the interval to 30 seconds, so I have enough time to do what I have to do in each individual shot. So I built myself a frame that will kind of keep the images in place. And I have to take a picture. Then I have about 30 seconds to lift up the frame, take out this paper that kind of blocks off the one underneath. Then I fold over my next drawing, put the frame down, and wait until the 30 seconds are over and the camera takes another picture. After that, repeat. And it's very important that those pictures are exactly one on top of the other as the camera takes a picture, because if they're not on top of each other, then the images start jumping around. I might still do another version where I actually color in the sun. So as you can already see, most of the image stays the same, but the hand is moving, the tail is moving, and the sun is moving upwards. And now I'm going to pull it all together, make a little movie out of it, and then you see what I made the panther do. Thanks for watching, and have fun making your own stop motion movie. Bye-bye.